Hey everyone, it's Marcus, the author of Unbroken, Walking on New Ground. And this is my 8th video in regards to Unbroken. Today I'd like to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that is healing. And I believe firmly that healing is all about energy, frequency, and vibration. I could probably talk for hours about healing. I like to keep my videos short. So after exploring many modalities of healing, I would like to talk about a couple that worked really good. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a practitioner. I am not giving medical advice. Consult your own doctors and do your own research before choosing any approach to healing. So that being said, I would think that the number one that tops my list is iridology. That one definitely is a game changer for me. I could say that I'm alive today because of iridology, and that iridology most likely saved my life. And I know that's a bold statement, but I firmly believe that to be true. I could go on to say if it didn't save my life, it definitely saved and preserved the quality of my well-being. I was very fortunate to have found my practitioner just outside of Boulder, Colorado, a few years after my accident, and I was in very bad shape physically. Super sick. I was on my second bout of pneumonia. My skin was yellow. I was ready to go down. And by the sure grace of God and all that's divine in the universe, I found one of the most incredible practitioners in the world. And he is an iridologist. He had a background in kinesiology. And I remember when I first went to see him, I went to see him for the pneumonia. And he's like, "You are in bad shape." I'm like, "You're telling me?" Within a short time of getting under or being under his advice and his therapy, I got better immediately. You know, my chest cleared up and the cough went away, and then we just for the next 14 years worked on making my body as healthy as possible. So a huge shout out to Matthew. I won't give out his last name because he likes to stay underneath the radar for saving my life. So they study the iris of your eye, and they can detect deficiencies inside of your body through your eye. Very interesting. I did multiple cleanses that he taught me how to do throughout my life, shared them with some friends, and they had absolute great results from those. So iridology, I would rank up there. Ayahuasca, I'm not going to go into that right now. I'll maybe do ayahuasca in a different video so I can go more in depth. Acupuncture. Acupuncture was an absolutely huge modality for me. I was very fortunate to be living in a small town, and we had the healers to the healers, the healer to the healers. And he doesn't like to call himself a healer, but I believe that to be true, and that is Turia Hill. He's given me permission to use his name in my book. I wrote about him in my book, and I wrote about acupuncture in my book because of the incredible results that I received from acupuncture. And I think that acupuncture is widely available. Once again, you do have to do your research and find the right practitioner. And, you know, it's been around for thousands of years, and Turia perfected his healing heart. So from the bottom of my heart, Turia, thank you so much for what you've done for me in my life and for everyone that is fortunate enough to walk through your door. I could tell you countless stories of people that I knew that were facing serious ailments, went to see Turia and were cured. No, okay, I'm not going to use that word. That's not a good word to use in America. Their symptoms were treated successfully. So I just sent a good friend, Kim Frazier, a.k.a. the Love Goddess, to Turia, and she couldn't thank me enough, and I know why. So Tria, thank you for everything that you've done for me and for everyone that walks through your door. I did talk about Tria about putting something in the book, and he wanted to throw in breathing, awareness, and spirit all at once. Breathing is fundamental and the primary form of life, providing us nourishment moment to moment. Tria Hill. Thank you so much for being a positive influence in my life. So that would rank, in the top 3. Stem cells. It's tough to rank that one. I received some stem cells under the care of Dr. Beagleson in that awesome little town too, who unfortunately passed away. And he used to say all the time, health isn't complicated, people are. Whatever that meant to be. Unfortunately, he passed. He did live blood cell analysis, and I received a stem cell treatment underneath his care. Really incredible, cutting edge health technology. His sons, Adam and Joshua Beagleson, took their practice down to Mexico. You can look those guys up. Bigelson, I think is how it's spelled. So I would highly recommend those guys. As far as the stem cells, that one was immediate. I will say that. Within a couple weeks, maybe not more than a month, it just felt like I snapped out of it. Now, I wanted to do the stem cells to help my spinal cord. Unfortunately, stem cells in themselves are not going to repair a damaged spinal cord. The axons and the neurons move up. I think they're called like ascending and descending tracks. And these tracks look like ladders. And once they're severed inside of your spinal cord, the neurons and the axons can't message the brain and go back and forth. And that's why people are paralyzed. So I knew going into the stem cells, it wasn't going to heal my spinal cord. I did think it could make the undamaged area of my spinal cord stronger. So that was my approach to it. But like I said, about a month in, it's like I snapped. I was in a fog. Now I did have a closed head injury in the accident, and I did play sports. So I took a couple good hits to the head, got some concussions. So I'm the first to say there's probably some CTI or some brain damage going on up there if it's not really obvious through my talks, and I work the best that I can through it. The stem cells, I felt like I snapped out of it. Prior to, my vocabulary was lacking, like as in, I knew I wanted a word, but I couldn't find it up in there. And then also I was misplacing my keys, my wallet, always searching for stuff, forgetting things. And my experience with stem cells was I snapped out of it. Like that brain fog was gone. And this was 15 years ago, and it appears to me it's still sticking. My memory is, very state of the art. My intelligence might not be, but my memory is state of the art. And I think cognitively, the stem cells were absolutely imperative in my recovery. What can I talk about? Vibration. Let's talk about energy, frequency. And it was Tesla that said, Nikola Tesla, energy, frequency, and vibration are all around us. And when we learn to harness them, we can create anything we desire. And I believe that to be true. And I think we can use that concept in healing. Placebo, right? What's the placebo effect? If you're not familiar with it, I think a lot of people are. A test case study of people who have an ailment. They give them a pill that they know will cure that, and then they give the other people with the ailment a sugar pill, and those people who took the sugar pill, their ailment is cured. Well, how did that happen? It happened through the power of belief. And what is belief? I think belief is all three of these. It's energy, it's frequency, and it's vibration. And when all those come together, it's a recipe for success in my book. I guess Hippocrates also said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. I couldn't agree with that more. I'm very particular about what I eat, and I don't eat a lot because I got a slow metabolism. I can look at food and gain weight. So I have to be very careful, and I'm very cautious and probably too picky. You know, I walk into a grocery store and I'm like, what am I going to buy? You know, everything on the inner aisles is, I don't even look at that stuff. And even the vegetables, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm probably overthinking, but some of us do that. I'm like, where did it come from? What did they spray on it? So food for me is very challenging. I try to stick with organic for the most part. I can't always afford it. I just go with what is vibrationally right for me, and I try not to eat a lot. That's my big thing. I don't try to gorge. I stay away from processed foods. You know, I stay away from those places on the side of the road everywhere you go that serve that stuff. I stay away from that. Stay away from oils. I don't want to get in trouble with this video, so I have to be careful with what I say. A lot of oils I stay away from. So yeah, I think that a lot of health comes down to power of belief. One of the things about healing that has been my thorn in the side is the cost. I get that we live in a monetary system and a capitalistic system, and everything costs. To me, healing's so divine that to put a monetary energy on top of it diminishes it. But I know that's how the world goes round, right? Doctors need to be paid, practitioners need to be paid. And I guess I could say this about Tariq here. This is one thing that I really enjoyed about his practice, other than the healing I received. And I think this is leading by example, is a few times a year, Tariq would open up his door and treat people with whatever they could afford. A blank envelope, put whatever it is, no judgment, because of an energy exchange. That's what he told me. It was an energy exchange. So whatever was $1, he didn't care. It was the part of that. And I wish more practitioners would follow Tariq's lead. You know, I understand we all got to get paid, but maybe once every couple months, open it up for someone that needs healing that can't afford it, because healing costs, as we all know. So I think that's about as far as I'm going to take this video. In future videos, I'm going to go into the healing I got from ayahuasca, and I wrote about that in detail in Unbroken. And I would just really encourage everyone to keep a positive attitude when we're facing these challenges that pop up in our life, because, you know, with the right mindset, anything can happen. And I believe that to be true around healing. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, follow, share, whatever the case may be. I got some more coming right around the corner. So until that time, take care. And may you be well.